Assalamu alaikum. Managerial Accounting, Chapter 5, Relevant Range. Throughout the range of possible level of activity, straight line relationship usually doesn't exist for either variable cost or fixed cost. Doesn't exist for either variable cost or fixed cost. As you learned in the previous lecture, the fixed cost is linear, as you see. Also, the variable cost is linear. Now, as you see, variable cost here is linear. Also, fixed cost is linear. But now, in this lecture, you will learn something new, that straight line relationship doesn't exist for variable cost or fixed cost. Relationship between variable cost and the change in activity level is often curved line. Curve line, which means not linear. Relationship between variable cost and the change in activity level is often curve line. It's not line, curve line. Also, for fixed cost, the relationship is also non-linear. Not non-linear. Some fixed costs will not change over the entire range of activity, while other fixed costs may change. Again, in the previous lecture, we learned variable cost is linear and fixed cost is linear. Now, in detail study, we will learn that variable cost is curved line. Also, fixed cost is non-linear or curved line. So, fixed costs that may be changed by managers include research such as new product development and management training programs. So, in this lecture, in relevant range, here's the total variable cost curve line for variable cost. Also, for fixed cost non-linear in relevant range, then increase to this level, then for another increase for the third level. So, fixed cost is non-linear. Also, variable cost is curved line. Relevant range, what we mean relevant range of activity over which a company expects to operate during a year. Relevant range of activity over which a company expects to operate during a year. So we can determine the variable cost for this level relevant range. Also the fixed cost for the relevant range. Activity level. For activity level, we expect to operate during the year. We compute the variable cost, also the total fixed cost. Again, relevant range of activity over which a company expects to operate during a year. As you see, we assume linear behavior within relevant range. As you see in the variable cost and relevant range, we can almost consider it almost linear. Also, the fixed cost in relevant range, we assume it linear. Here's the point. Linear behavior within relevant range. Linear behavior within relevant range. What we mean with relevant range? The expects to operate during the year. Range of activity over which a company expects to operate during a year. The relevant range is multiple choice questions. Here's the answer: the range over which the company expects to operate during a year. Also, this idea may be true or false question. So we reach the third kind of cost, which is called mixed cost. As you see, we learn variable cost, we learn fixed cost. Now the third type, mixed cost, which costs that have both a variable element and a fixed element. Mixed cost, costs that have both a variable element and a fixed element. Also, mixed costs change in total but not proportionately with the change in activity level. It change in total but not proportionately with the change in activity level. Maybe activity level increase 10%, but the cost increase 5%. Here's the behavior of mixed cost. There is a part as fixed cost element and another part is variable cost element. Here's the total cost line for mixed cost. Mixed cost, here's the total cost line. But if you remember from the previous lecture, the variable cost, the total cost was begin from 0. But now in mixed cost, it's begin from the fixed part, as you see from 50. Behavior of mixed cost. Now we learn the kinds of cost. Variable cost, it change in the same percentage. Fixed cost remains the same. The third kind, mixed cost, which part variable element and the other fixed element. Now, types of cost. Helena Company reports the following total cost at 2 levels of production. You need to classify each cost as variable, fixed, or mixed. Here's the cost under 10,000 units level. The second for level 20,000 units. As you see, the first level 10,000, the second level 20,000 double. If the cost remains the same, it's fixed cost. As you see, if the cost remains the same under the two levels, this cost will be fixed cost. As you see here, depreciation under the first level 4,000 and under the second level 4,000. So depreciation considered fixed cost. Also, rent in the first level 6,000 and in the second level 6,000, the same figure, the same amount. So rent also fixed cost. It's easy to determine the fixed cost, the cost that is not changed under different level of activity. Now, the remaining cost, if the cost change in the same percentage of change in activity level, it's variable cost. As you see here, direct material, here 20,000 per unit will be $2. And the second level, direct materials 40,000 divided by 20,000, it's also $2. So this item is variable cost. Or because the level of activity is double, the cost is double, so it's variable cost. Here, direct labor 17,000. Here, 34,000 double, so it's variable cost. Or if we calculate the 4 unit, it's 1.7. Direct labor 4 unit 1.7. Also here 1.7. So it's called variable cost. In direct material, here's 1,000, here's 2,000. As you see, when the level of activity double, the cost is double, so variable cost. Or if we calculate per units, in this level will be 10 cents per unit. Here's 10 cents per unit, so it's variable cost. But in mixed cost maintenance, here's in the first level $8,000. In the second level $10,000. It's not double, so it's not variable cost. And it's not the same amount, so it's not fixed cost. So it's mixed. As you see, maintenance is not variable cost. Maintenance is not fixed cost. So it's mixed cost. Mixed cost. Also, utilities. It's not double, so it's not variable, and it's not the same amount, so it's not fixed, so it's mixed cost. Mixed cost. As you see, you can classify each cost variable, fixed, or mixed easy. Now, learning objective number 2 applies the high-low method to determine the components of mixed cost, to determine the variable cost and fixed cost and mixed cost. As you see, we have maintenance mixed cost and utilities mixed cost. From this data, we will determine how from this amount is variable and how much is fixed. Using high-low method to determine the components of mixed cost. High-low method uses the total cost incurred at the high and the low level of activity to classify mixed cost into fixed and variable components. Now, we'll learn how to classify mixed cost. Classify mixed cost into fixed and variable components using the method of high and low levels of activity. Using the cost under high and low level of activity. The difference in cost between the high and low levels represents variable cost, since only variable cost elements can change as activity level change. So the difference in cost between the high and low levels represents variable cost. So the difference in cost between the high and low levels represents variable cost, since only variable cost element can change as activity levels change. Now we will see how to apply this method. High-low method. Determine variable cost per unit using the following formula. Variable cost per unit. Change in total cost at high level versus low activity level. Change in cost divided by change in activity level, high minus low activity level, equal variable cost per unit. So step number 1, we calculate variable cost per unit. A change in cost divided by change in activity unit, activity level. Formula for variable cost per unit using high-low method. It's easy. Variable cost per unit equal change in cost divided by change in activity level. Here's exercise. Metro Transit Company has the following maintenance costs and mail age with data for its fleet of buses over a 6-month period. Here's the data for the maintenance cost and the mail age, which level of activity, data for its fleet of buses over a 6-month period. Here's miles driven, activity level in each month, and the cost for maintenance. We want to compute the variable cost using high-low method. So high-low method, as you see, high cost was in April 63,000. In the month of April, the high cost. The low cost was in January 30,000. And here's the activity level at high level 50,000 miles and in low level 20,000 miles. From the data over 6 months period, we determine the high level, the high cost, and the low level, low cost. We can compute cost per unit using this formula. Variable cost per unit, we will apply this formula. A change in cost divided by change in activity level. Change in cost 63,000 less 30,000 divided by high minus low activity level 50,000 minus 20,000 equal 1.10 cent per unit. Hertz equal Hertz 63,000 minus 30 divided by 50,000 minus 20,000 equal 1.10 cent per unit. Here's the variable cost per unit. Now, step number 2, determine the total fixed cost by subtracting the total variable cost at either the high or low activity level from the total cost at that activity level. Now, we can determine the fixed cost using the high level or the low level, and the answer is the same. Total fixed cost will be the same, 8,000, 8,000. Now, total cost at high level, 63,000. 63,000 less variable cost 50,000 times 1.10. Also at low cost, low level, the cost 30,000 and variable cost 20,000 times 1.10 cent. Total fixed cost 8,000, 8,000. So step number 2, determine the total fixed cost by subtracting the total variable cost at either high or low activity level. Maybe use the high level, the answer is 8,000. As you see, either the high or low activity. Under low activity, also the fixed cost 8,000. Now, high-low method may be for maintenance, as you see. Mixed cost consists of variable cost element and a fixed cost element. Mixed cost, variable cost element, and fixed cost element. Another exercise, do 8 high-low method. It's easy. We company accumulate the following data concerning mixed cost using units produced at activity level. بالشكل أمامنا. Here's units produced, total cost. Compute the variable and fixed cost elements using this method, high and low. As you see, here's the high level when in March level 9,800 unit, and here's the total cost. The low level is May 7,000 unit, total cost 11,100. Using the information from part A, write the cost formula for this mixed cost. Estimate the total cost if the company produces 8,000 units. Here, from this data, we will classify the mixed cost to variable or fixed cost, then put the formula, then estimate the cost if we expect to produce 8,000 units. This is very easy, as you will see. Here, compute the variable and fixed cost elements using the high-low method. Applying to formula, a change in cost divided by a change in activity level. Change in cost from here, 14,740 minus under low level 11,100 divided by the units produced or activity level from the high 9,800 minus 7,000 equal 1.30 cents per unit. Then we calculate the fixed cost component. Maybe use the data from high level 14,700 minus the variable component 9,800 times 1.30 equal 2,000. Or maybe apply it on low level. Here's total cost 11,100 minus 7,000 units times 1.3 equal net 2,000. Fixed cost 2,000, as you see. Now, using the information from your answer to part A, write the cost formula. Cost formula for this mixed cost, it's 2,000 a month plus 1.30 cent per units produced times units produced. Here's the formula. From this mixed cost, we put the formula in this way. Monthly $2,000 plus 1.30 cent times units produced. So estimate the total cost if the company produces 8,000 units. If in next month we expect to produce 8,000 units, so the total cost, estimated total cost will be the fixed portion 2,000 plus 8,000 times 1.30 cent equal 12,400. You use the formula to estimate future cost. For example, for next month, if we expected to produce 8,000 units, the cost will be 2,000 plus 8,000 times 1.30 equal 12,400. Cost value profit analysis إن شاء الله للمحاضرة القادمة. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.